All right, let's dive right into this week's explainer where we're unpacking the most impactful Azure updates from January 23rd, 2026. We're going to be looking at some brand new tools that are all about helping you build apps that are faster, more secure, and way more resilient.
This is the question, right? It's what every single developer and architect is trying to figure out. And the updates we're about to walk through in compute, networking, storage, and AI are pretty much Microsoft's latest answers. They're designed to give you a whole lot more power and a whole lot more control.
Okay, so first up, let's talk about compute. Specifically, there's a major update for anyone running their apps in containers with Azure Kubernetes Service, AKS. If you're in that world, this is all about making security way easier to handle when you're working at scale.
So, Azure is rolling out something called Pod Security Standards. The best way to think about this, it's like a central control panel for all your Kubernetes security. Seriously, instead of having to set up policies one by one for every little thing, you can now just apply standard profiles, like a baseline or a restricted one across all your clusters. It just makes managing security so much simpler.
And just look at how detailed this gets. You get to control things like whether containers can run with special privileges, who gets to use root access, what kinds of storage volumes can even be mounted. It's an incredibly powerful way to lock down your applications and stop common security problems before they even start.
All right, let's switch gears over to networking, because there's an update here that is a genuine game changer, especially if you're designing systems that absolutely have to stay online.
The V2 NAT Gateway is now officially out, and the big difference is right here. The old gateway was stuck in a single zone, but this new V2 version, it's zone redundant by default. So what does that really mean? It means it's no longer a single point of failure. If an entire availability zone goes down, your architecture can keep on chugging along. That is absolutely critical for building truly resilient apps.
And it's not just about being tougher. It's also about being faster, a lot faster. Look at that number, 100 gigabits per second of throughput. That is an insane amount of bandwidth for apps that have to push out tons of traffic. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. The source material for this explainer, John Saville's training, put it perfectly. This is a huge deal. And it is. It totally changes how you design for high availability in Azure, and it gets rid of a massive headache from the older version. Okay, let's pivot one more time and talk about storage. The big theme here is all about giving you more secure, more flexible ways to manage and protect your data, whether it's sitting in blobs, files, or tables.
Now, this is a really important one for security. You might already know about user-delegated SAS tokens for blobs, but now they're here for tables, files, and queues too. The old way used these all-powerful account keys, which could be a little risky. But this user-delegated SAS is tied to an actual user's identity and Entra ID. That means the token can never have more permissions than the person who created it. And, this is the best part, it automatically expires in 7 days, max. It's just a much safer way to grant temporary access to your data. Next up, something really cool for anyone still managing on-prem file servers. It's called cloud tiering in Azure File Sync. The easiest way to picture it is right there. It basically makes your local file server feel like it has infinite storage. It's smart enough to keep the files you use all the time, the hot files, right there on the local server for quick access. But older, colder files, they get moved up to an Azure file share. And if a user needs one of those old files, it just gets pulled down automatically. Pretty slick.
And for those of you running really critical Oracle databases on Azure, there's a really important update here. Azure NetApp Files has gotten much better at handling cross-zone and cross-region replication. It's way more efficient because it only sends the data blocks that have actually changed. This is all about making sure your most important databases stay protected and available no matter what happens.
And for our final section, we're diving into developer tools. And the big story here is all about AI and how it's becoming easier than ever to build it directly into your very own applications. So, we all think of GitHub Copilot as that amazing AI assistant that lives inside our code editor, right? Well, that's all about to change in a really big way. Check this out. There is now a GitHub Copilot SDK, which means you can take all of that AI power and embed it directly into your own apps. You can literally build custom AI agents that can handle complex, multi-step jobs that are specific to your business. We're not just talking about simple Q&A bots here. We're talking about creating truly sophisticated AI experiences for your users, all powered by the same engine that makes Copilot so good. So when you step back and look at it, from zone-redundant networking and centralized Kubernetes security to smarter storage and AI you can actually build with, you can see the platform is just evolving at an incredible pace. The key thing to remember is that these aren't just tiny incremental updates. These are foundational tools that unlock brand new possibilities. So the only real question left is, what are you going to build with them?